Hi everyone, I'm Dragon with you, and today we have two events at the same time. So, Stellar Radiance is an event dedicated to Nebula, and I would like to say that Nebula is a great hero. For me, I play her at special teams like against Osh and Grand Arena, and obviously sometimes I can play her in adventures, but in general, she's not my main hero. Still, she's powerful enough to play at some situations. So first of all, let's go to event quests. I already maxed Nebula's souls, and she also has max strength, max glyphs. That's why some of the quests are already done for me. About VIP points and emeralds, as usual. So think if you want to participate, remember that we have two events now, which means you can get double value, but just for me, I prefer to check which part I can go to. So, for example, if I need an extra 100 points, then maybe I would go for this quest. Otherwise, generally, I try not to invest too much here. Then spending energy, so typical energy spending plan, as usual. Just the main idea is check which resources you can afford to spend during this event. As usual, we have double value from spending energy and emeralds because Asgard event is still on, which means you can get double value from that. So in general, I recommend you to stop at around 100 offers, maybe 150 offers. Just think what you can afford and where you plan to stop because we have other great events very soon. After that, about glyphs. So my typical offer for you, and actually some ask where we can find this, so I'll show you all the way. So in general, my main heroes are kind of casual, except maybe Chinmao, because I play her for a long time and she's a great addition against some physical teams, and for sure I play her against bosses. So about Nebula, you can see that Nebula isn't my main hero, but I still develop her. So I still want to make Nebula as high as possible because I even use her at Guild War Defense now. That's the reason why I decided to kind of boost Nebula. But to complete more quests, I recommend you kind of opposite thing. So you can go to the heroes which are least popular or least developed just for you, and there you will be able to collect more parts. So that's the idea how you can relatively cheaply spend your resources. Yes, you gain not as great reward as you spend for sure, so don't just invest too hard. At the same time, if you don't need like casual crystals for your main team, then that means you can spend them, and for that you gain crystals of next quality, which can boost your most important units. So that's exactly the reason why I offer you this way. So check which heroes are least developed, where you can afford spending resources, and as a result, by just investing into low heroes, which probably you will rarely play, you get rewards which can benefit into main tier. That's the idea. About summons, so I have only 5 summons. I'm not going to spend emeralds to go get extra summons at Solatium. That's super expensive because, well, that's an expensive quest. That's why I probably skip it. But the rewards are high enough, so maybe some of you will get interested in that. And finally, about the shop. So, according to the shop, we have rewards which are kind of casual. So, if you need something specific, like an artifact, then I recommend you to pick artifacts which are just one type. So, complex artifacts may have some extra price. At the same time, I really like the pricing of some of them. That's why check which artifacts are needed by your main heroes. For example, you want Lara, maybe Unity of Extremes can be a good choice here because I remember how hard it is to collect this artifact, and I actually purchased it at Summer Festival shop just to skip all this super hard process of collecting this artifact. So maybe Unity of Extremes can be an option from Complex, or Simple if you want artifacts. But Personally, I want random insignias or random crystals. That's the idea, because Ascension is the thing which still requires my resources. So I just received such high results in Ascension only because I purchased those crystals and insignias at almost every event where I can afford that. So that's why my Ascension is high, but still, as you can see, I still need some more resources. So that's about Stellar Radiance. Now some words about my Nebula. So what I like about Nebula is if you check her abilities, then she can actually burn energy from enemies, and if you are able to control this ability, then you can just make some units out of the game almost, because she burns 105% in total. If you activate this ability while it moves through enemy team, then you can switch off the main enemy damage dealers, which can result into your victory. For auto, it just goes to backline and does something there, so not always it helps a lot, but still it deals extra damage, so not so bad. Second ability is Ascended here, so as you can see, if an ally gains a debuff, then Nebula will cancel the debuff and restore some extra health. If that debuff was obtained with 4 seconds, when Serenity was triggered. So Ascended skill allows her to be even better debuff remover, and actually that's also good for your team. Disharmony, just extra damage, and Equilibrium. So Equilibrium is the ability which makes Nebula a great hero. What I mean is you actually can play Nebula in hybrid teams, where you play both physical and magic damage heroes, and that results into effectiveness for both. So Equilibrium is actually the ability which made me play Nebula. As an example, I can show you a fight where I used hybrid team. It was on Grand Arena, and I would say that she helped a lot. So just a quick look about my situation. So skills, stats for now, items, glyphs maxed, gift maxed, artifacts 100 for now because I still haven't finished my main heroes. And Ascension, so that's the Ascension bonuses she has for now. So I still need to finish her role branch and get her some more, but I almost finished, and that's the result which you can see here. So I really hope that these results help you to decide how important is Ascension for her, and it boosts her physical attack, which results into actually better buff for your allies. Okay, so now let's move to the example which I told about. That's in Grand Arena. As you can see, I have several options where I can play Nebula. For example, at first team, she can buff Jew or Iris, depending on where her buff lands, but in both cases, I kind of win. And as for attack example, here we have an example. You see that it's not my main team, and neither is the flag, but at the same time, Orion and Dante were my main damage dealers. So both of them made a huge impact into this victory, and the result was obtained by Nebula actually. So if we check the fight itself, then Nebula's buff was very useful for Orion and Dante. So at this particular fight, she stands near both of them, which means she will buff. So now Dante got the buff, and actually he was able to improve his attack. Now, soon after, so when this buff is out, Nebula will perform another buff on something else. So now Orion has the buff, and his attack, if he attacks during this, he didn't actually, then he gets more damage as well. So actually playing Nebula at hybrid teams like this, I tried to get dodge from Dante and main damage from mages here, and Rufus just because he helps to survive against enemy mages. So that's an example of how you can play Nebula in hybrid teams. Still, Nebula isn't my main hero, and I think that she's useful still. Some words about Ascension to Asgard. So here we have quests which stack with current event, so you still need to spend some emeralds. and you still need to spend energy. That's why if you spend energy today, you'd get double value. But probably, maybe some of them would prefer to wait for Titan event and go Stellar Radiance plus Titans and do actually same stuff. But remember that if you get something here, then you might invest something as well. So as I told you at Asgard, Ascension to Asgard, you are able to boost your higher rarity crystals using more low rarity crystals. And that's my approach. So just spend what you don't actually need to get something you need. Yes, more quantity, but still. And that's the idea about Ascension to Asgard, which I wanted to highlight. So just spend reasonable amount of energy and emeralds to get double value from both events. Okay, so hope this video helps you as well. See you in my next videos and good luck in the menu.